Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at some diamond and pearl fakes. These are pretty obvious as well. At first glance, they are a little glossy, a little glossier, and the colors are off compared to a regular Pokemon card, so they kind of stand out right away. I guess amongst those, we have quite a collection of fakes from this. They probably all came from the same collection purchase and the same seller. I guess with the green cards, we don't get to see the background. See something super interesting about the Rhyperior, and maybe we'll use him as our example. Pick on him. The Beauty Fly that's here underneath is also fake. So we have some fighting Pokemon and some grass Pokemon to choose from, but we're gonna go with the Rhyperior, and you guys will see why in a second here. Now you notice the Rhyperior was actually a holographic card, so that's probably a little bit too hard for this company making bootlegs to replicate. So right away we're gonna see that they actually just scanned and printed the holofoil instead of actually adding holofoil, so there's no shine to it. There's a little bit of an illusion, especially under the microscope here, of a shine effect, but that's just the scan that they took. It's kind of neat to look at the holo foil. We'll be able to track down the exact card that they copied. We got a pretty nasty crease down the middle. All right, let's get into the details that we normally look for. Our border is looking a little bit fishy. There's quite a few dots in there. Some irregularities. We have some damage on there as well. Our text, again, is looking nice and clean. So they must have done that separately. It's not just a scan and then direct printout, because your text up top there would be blurry. I wonder if they could actually input the text over top. I guess not, because none of them seem to do it. They just copy the text. It's almost like they try to remove the original text and then print their own on these ones that have crisp black text. So we got our HP 140 fighting symbol. Looks like it was a professional printer that they used when they did this. We don't have any streaking or anything like that. And most of my fakes are that way. I don't know if I have any that were actually home print jobs and attached to another card. We got some weird freckles going on here. Our Earth Fissure, that's probably a bad sign. I don't think I have any from this era that have the Poke Power, but that should be just a solid red text if I remember correctly. You can see within this guy we have some dots within the red, which means it was probably scanned. There's a good chance the whole card was scanned, and the dead giveaway for that was the fact that the holofoil is not actually holofoil. It's just a scanned version of the real holofoil. So here, it looks like the text up above was a lot more crisp than the stuff down here. Although it does look like it's a separate layer, which is interesting. It looks like they're almost running low on ink here where they printed. The biggest giveaway is going to be our damage here, which is, for some reason, I don't know why they did this. Maybe they were trying to cover up where the damage was before, and they needed to go with something really, really thick to cover that up, because they didn't have the scan information from underneath that text, which makes you kind of wonder why they didn't just scan the whole card. Why would they add that? Might have been some way to get around copyright information. We have our bar down here, which I'm pretty sure is not supposed to be as shadowy as that. Our text is not very clean down here at the bottom where there's fine details. No, and then the weakness plus 30 looks a little thick for my liking, but we'll compare that after in the next stat. And then we'll also compare the set symbol down in the bottom to see if it's supposed to have those dots within it. Backside, what do we got? We have a not solid blue border. That's a bad sign. Bad start. It looks like our P is not terrible, but certainly not what it's supposed to be, and we'll do a side-by-side or a back and forth comparison of that later. Our Pokeball is looking a little grimy. Certainly some differences there. It is a pretty clean pattern, though. We'll give them that. In our yellow. Alright, let's pop on now. We'll compare it to a reverse, which is not ideal, but most of the aspects of the card will be similar. Other than where the hollow foil is probably not a good comparison because they want the ink to let it through. So our text looks pretty good. Just doing a side-by-side comparison, we can see that our O is definitely not the right O again. So maybe that's a good thing for us to look for. Use the O as a method. Let's compare our fighting symbols here in the corner. So we get some pretty major differences there. The reverse card here that's on top is our real card, in case I lost anyone there. So you can see that we have a much cleaner fighting symbol there at the top. Our 0 and our HP is way off. We're actually a little bit thicker on the real card this time, including the HP is a pretty big difference there too. So we're looking at the same set. These are both from Diamond and Pearl, so that HP should be identical. As far as I'm aware, there was no changes made in the middle of Diamond and Pearl. Let's, I guess we can do a side-by-side on the border. Side-by-side on the border, so you can kind of see a difference there. More speckles in the fake card. You can see all the scratches on this reverse Hippowdon. Alright, let's compare our set symbols. So we'll see we got a nice clean set symbol on our real card, and we have a little bit of a mess going on, like our the shine, or the little thing inside the pearl is actually connected on the fake card there. And then within our white border we have a mess of speckles that kind of got in, probably just from the scanning process or something. However, they were ripping the images. So this is a pretty good comparison on the retreat cost as well. We can see that now these might not be a perfect and direct comparison, but there's enough difference here that you can certainly tell. I would imagine that the ink wants to do a little bit of different stuff when it's printed onto foil rather than onto the paper cards. So then we got our 29 out of 130. At least they got the set number right. Nice clean star here for a rare on our real card. Not so much on the fake one. The font is definitely off a little bit, but not terrible. It looks like the fake card is now thicker than the original, but that could be just where it was scanning the actual card, and so it created a little bit of a shadow or wider effect on it. Our -20 is not even close to the same, and same with our electric or lightning resistance here. It looks like we have a pretty cool little print dot there in the -20 on our Hippowdon reverse. Resistance, you can see the it's a little bit hard to tell on the foil, but definitely not as clean as our foil card, our real card. Let's look over at our water energy comparison. Again, the text is way off on the +20, +30. Even though we have a 2 and a 3, it's the zero is pretty obvious, and just the size in general is way off. So they made the plus sign larger but skinnier, or it might be the same thickness or very close to it. We could take out measurement tools and find that out, but we're not going to get into that. It's visually obvious enough that we can say that it's definitely wrong. Let's check our code down here on the bottom. Again, wrong font, wrong size, wrong. It's definitely bolder on the real card than it is on the fake one. Alright, back side. What are we saying on the back? Let's do our side-by-side P comparison. My favorite, my trademark P test. Here we go. Get them both on screen for you. It's a little bit difficult to do, but still wanted to showcase the microscope there, but it is in the way a little bit. So you can see a nice clean P hole on the real card, and then this is the fake one that I'm moving around right now, and it's a little bit blurry. We do have the yellow in there, so it's doing a better job than some of the fakes. And then we can look at the shading here on the right side. Well, right side now that we're upside down on the screen. Inside the yellow, inside the P hole, on the right side of the P hole, and on the long part of the P there, down below it, it's got some shading there that isn't really showing up the same way that it would or should in a real card over here on the right. So I mean, this is probably in my opinion, the easiest way to look at two cards. You can use your $3, $2 loop, jeweler's loop, at 30x, and easily take a look and see the difference between a real one and a fake one. No matter how good the fake is, chances are they can't even get this small of a detail correct, unless they somehow get a hold of everything they need from the factory to reproduce that. Which obviously these companies don't seem to have. Let's compare. Do we compare our blue border, our standard blue border? Check. So the color's off right away, even with the naked eye, but you can see that there's kind of some more dotty detail in the blue border of the fake card that's on the top currently, compared to the solid blue on the solid and deeper blue on the bottom. The blue on the card itself, you can see where the color difference kind of stems from at the magnified level. We got a nice clean rosette here. We got a mess up at top, probably because they're ripping the cards from scans. What else? Let's look at the white part of the Pokeball. So here's the fake. We got all kinds of stuff going on there compared to the real one, which is more uniform. And not bad on this. This is the fake one currently. So it has a pattern, but it's not definitely not as clean as the real card. Sometimes they get pretty close with some of that detail, but so here we go. Real Pokeball button versus fake Pokeball button. And I guess if you're looking at your own cards too, and for whatever reason you don't have a real card, you can come in and pause the video at a point where you want to inspect your card to see if it's real. But it's probably just as easy to do that with a real card that you have at home. Maybe if you don't have one from the same era, you can use one of these videos as a reference to see where they messed up the fakes. With time and with handling enough cards, most of this stuff becomes pretty super obvious. But at least the fakes that I've come across, there's a few that have been close that if I just saw a pile of cards, I might not notice it right away. But as soon as you're sorting through and you play with it and see it, you can really tell. Alright, let's look at the core. Now this is going to be a little bit different because we have a foil card. Let's try to get the edge of the card. This is our real card, or Hippowdon. There we go, we're getting close. And we won't see I believe the foil cards don't have the core, they just have like a foil core instead of a graphite core like the non-holos do. But I could be wrong on that if anyone knows. feel free to correct me in the comments. And as always, guys, if there's other stuff that you want to see, any suggestions, then certainly let me know. I can try to get that done. Here we go. So we might have graphite in there, or that might just be the foil layer. It's the real card. We certainly have a layer in the middle there. It actually might be the same graphite in the middle now that I think of it, to bond the two sides together, and then just your front side is going to be a foil, have a foil layer rather than here's our fake card. So we should always zoom out first so we can at least get it relatively close to in focus, and then we can zoom in. Make it a little bit easier on ourselves. Typically, if you're focused at higher magnification, it will be focused all the way out in the lower magnification. So where we're doing us on the fly, it's a little bit different. Should probably have two things to prop this up so it holds it in place. I might have to make something, maybe something with some slots in it so we can do a side-by-side comparison without it waving all over the screen on me. I promise I'm holding it very steady. Just under magnification, it's a little bit hard to get it perfectly still when it's up on its side. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. If you like what you see, make sure you watch the other Microscope videos. Probably suggest watching them all the way through from the start if you're interested, and make sure to subscribe because I'm sure we'll be doing more of these. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.